other Gmail account.
There is a toggle in settings where you can take that off, or you can put it on. That way, when my students join, they join with their names.
So then that
Instead of
gives you
a
that
made-up fictional name that I don't know who they are. There's a line where they can put in a nickname, which makes them feel cool. They can put that nickname in there, but it doesn't show up for me when it comes to looking at the report and the scores. But yeah, it's a setting you can turn on, and I turn it on.
I've never seen that.
And do you have to make any sort of introduction? We go live right now, or
We're live.
we're live right now?
I can real quick. All right, welcome. We are here with Karen Burke for our Nearpod training. Thank you for joining us. Let's see if we have any joiners. Right now, 0. But someone may
Well,
join. We'll see.
Take a watch.
But I'm glad I got to introduce myself.
Okay, so today I'm going to share with you Nearpod and what Nearpod can do for you, for your students in your classroom. Those of you who are joining live can go to join.nearpod.com or join through the app and put in the code 6WVPU. If you do that, and I'm going to join as a student up here, so what you see on the screen will also be what you see on your student screen. So I'll go ahead and join.
Can I ask why it says don't have a code, use magic?
That means you can try one of their random lessons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was something magical you could do.
Okay. Yeah.
Wave a wall.
I was just sharing earlier when we went live that Nearpod has in their account settings for the teacher a toggle switch where you can enable Google to grab their names. So that way when it asks for student names, instead of them typing in some random name or some not so nice name, it'll actually be the name associated with their Google account. So I'm going to log in with Google. Yes, continue. So it'll have my name, my real name. Okay. All right. So first of all, just take a quick poll here. Have you used Nearpod before? One thing you can do as a student, you can click on this during the Nearpod, or I might have to. Yeah.
I don't know if that board is
Just touch, okay. If you click here, you can get a larger view. So if you're asking them to comment on an image, have they seen this before? Do they know what this is? If you have some sort of engaging graph, what do they think about the numbers on the graph? You can put the image up here. You can enlarge it. They can enlarge it on their screens. And then they submit their answers. So I'll just submit yes and hit the submit button. Now, what I can do as the teacher is I can go ahead and share the poll results from my computer. So I can show you guys where maybe you fell in the poll. But again, it doesn't show any of the answers from the rest of the class. But I can see who answered yes or no on my screen. Okay, moving on. Now, there is a video. Before the video plays, I have a choice as a teacher. I can have it play on all your screens, or I can have it just play on my screen. But because my teacher computer, I'm using my Chromebook so I can float around the room and kind of keep an eye. I tell the kids, just make sure the sound is off on your device. You can play it on yours so they can see it, but they will hear it come through the classroom speakers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit students play. Now you could have them played on their individual device, but the problem with that is they'll each start at different times. Me, I go ahead and say students play, hit continue, and then I start it up on my classroom board. I always log in as a student on my classroom board. That way they're following along. What's on their screen is what's on my screen, and on my teacher computer, that's where I'm controlling the activity. Okay, so I've got to start the video here, and I'll give an
Introducing Nearpod.
introduction of
With
Nearpod.
Nearpod, you can make every lesson interactive. Launch lessons your students can't wait to join with collaborative, engaging activities like virtual reality, simulations, and gamified quizzes. As the teacher, you'll always know where your students are with Nearpod's formative assessments, including polls, open-ended questions, draw-its, and more. Get started with what you already have. Upload any of your favorite resources, PowerPoints, Google Slides, and videos, including directly from YouTube. Then, add in media and formative assessment in a few clicks. And now you can add questions directly into videos to make them interactive. Get started even faster with our library of pre-made lessons and videos, built in partnership with some of your favorite brands. You can use them as is or customize to meet the unique needs of your students. Once you're ready to launch your lesson, choose from 3 teaching modes. In live participation mode, you control the pace and students participate on their devices, either in person or remotely with web conferencing. In student-based mode, students move through and participate on their own, whether they're working from home or in class working in centers, stations, or groups. With front-of-class mode, you can use Nearpod without student devices and facilitate collaborative discussions. Imagine what you can do with Nearpod. Your students will love lessons that combine engaging media with collaborative ways for them to show off how much they've learned. You'll love unlocking student understanding in real time and having reports to inform the next day's instruction. You'll wonder how you taught without it. Learn more and get started for free at nearpod.com.
Okay, one of the things you'll notice here on the student view, you can click this down arrow. Again, the screen's not interactive. Okay. That way, I can go make notes in this Nearpod. Maybe I'm watching this and doing it on my own as home for homework. I can take notes within the Nearpod. I can see the code. Let's say my neighbor just got out for some reason. They accidentally closed the tab during the video. They can get the code off of my screen, and that's also where you can exit if they need to leave class for some reason. This tool here, again, you can have your notes that you took during the lesson. Let's say you want to keep those notes that you made. There was a really good quote or something you want to remember. You can save it directly to your Google Drive when the lesson is done. So you can tell the students to do that at any point in time. It can save directly to their Google Drive. What I didn't do here, but I want to let you know I have the capability now, and it's a new feature of Nearpod, is to turn this into an ed puzzle. I can stop this when I'm designing my Nearpod, stop it at any point and ask a question, either multiple choice or open-ended. There's only 2 types of questions I can ask. But I can actually use this as an ed puzzle in a Nearpod. So let's say it is assigned for homework. How do I know they actually watched that video? They could have just paged through all the slides and hit done. Well, they can't. They have to answer those questions. Or maybe I just put 1 at the end of the video attached on this slide so I know they watched it. Because they have to watch the video all the way through to get to that question, to answer that question, to move on to the next slide. Again, in settings, it's a new control that they've added. It's a toggle switch. You can force the students to answer every question, do every activity, and look at every slide. So they can't just scroll through and click done. Okay, so we've done a poll feature. Now let's try another activity. This is an open-ended question. Okay, so from the video, just type something that you found interesting. Okay, students are limited here to 1,000 characters. That's a lot. We know that's about a 3-paragraph essay for junior high kids. For elementary, that's way more than they'll probably ever write for an answer, but just know that you can write a 1,000-word essay, a 1,000-character essay. Now, something here, let's say you are a student and you're typing is not so good. And one of your accommodations is that you can text to type. That has that feature here. It can listen to you talk and type your answer for you. So it can be differentiated. Now, let's say I'm not a good reader yet. I can click the button and hear it read to me. You can turn the immersive reader feature on in this. So you can reach those students who are maybe learning to read, that are really young. They can hear the question read to them if they can't read it. And then again, talk and have that recorded as their answer. Okay, as the teacher on my device, I now see every student who has submitted. I can also see who hasn't submitted their answer yet. And then I can choose, let's see here, to share. I can wipe the names off so that when I share somebody's answer, they don't know, only the person who wrote it knows, oh, that's mine. Sometimes they'll go, ooh, that's my answer she's sharing. Sometimes they don't say anything. Everyone's looking around, whose is that, whose is that? So I can then unshare, and I can click on somebody else's, and then again, it appears on your screen. The one thing you need to be careful about this is once you share someone's answer, that kid who's slow, who hasn't finished their answer, can't type it in. They're locked out. Once you share other kids' answers, no one else can answer the question anymore. So it's like you've cut, and I give them a warning. I'm like, finish your answer in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I said everyone hit submit, and then I'll start sharing answers. So like I can just find someone that has something that I like, I don't like, and we can discuss different points of view. Maybe it's an opinion. Maybe we can look at an answer and then they can say why that student might have gone down that answer. It was not as correct. What were they possibly thinking? Okay, so if you've not been to Nearpod before, this is what your account will look like when you create an account. This is mine. I have folders created, so you can do it kind of like Google Drive. You can create folders. I have lessons here that aren't in folders that I pulled out or made here recently. You'll see not only are there lessons, there are reports on all the lessons that I've taught. And they're still there for the last 5 years worth of lessons. The libraries are all here, so this is what Nearpod will look to, like to you when you get an account.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask, does anybody here not have a Zoom? You know? Well,
Okay.
now I can add you.
Okay,
Yeah.
So then you'll have
good.
give enough to,
Yeah.
you'll have a license.
Oh,
So you'll be able
Yeah,
to-
you'll be on this.
Do you have a license, right?
I think I made an account, but I don't think it's like on the.
You
just-
yeah.
I get on the book.
districts.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Great.
let you know in a minute.
Thank you.
What I love about Nearpod is the pre-made lessons. They're already there, there's a library, and it's expanding. From where it was 5 years ago when I started with it to now, it's just amazing what's out there. Used to, when I would Google a science topic, like cell organelles, I might get one, and it might be high school. Now when I do that, I get junior high, high school, and I get 20 different things that have it in. So their search feature has search capabilities have improved, and their library has improved. So you can use pre-made lessons. And again, I'll have it so you can play it at home, or, play it from your device and watch from yours. Just make sure your sound is down.
Today, we will learn how to search the Nearpod library for lessons and videos. Once in your Nearpod account, select Nearpod Library in the gray panel on the left-hand side. You will be defaulted to our home Nearpod library page. Here, you will see a rotating banner of new features and content we've created for you to enjoy. Underneath, you will see folders with featured lessons, lessons by publishers, videos, and premium packages. The second way you can search the Nearpod library is using the search engine. I can search and filter the Nearpod library by typing in any key term, such as fractions. You can see here we have a variety of K through 12th grade standards aligned lessons and videos for you to choose from and add to your library. The third way to filter your Nearpod library is using the gray panel to the left-hand side. Here, you can filter by lessons or by videos. Lastly, you can search the Nearpod library by standard. First, begin by selecting the state in which you teach it. Then, select the subject, the grade level, and the specific strand. If you have any further questions, please visit nearpod.com/resources or email us at support@nearpod.com.
Okay, that search bar that you can filter works for Indiana standards, because I have filtered it for certain Indiana standards and it's worked for science. So I am assuming it should work across all grade levels for Indiana. So that is, but if you're not searching for maybe standards-based and you just want to do topic, you can do fractions, but then narrow it down to third grade, or if you're doing time or money in math, or in language arts, if you're learning punctuation, you can filter it all the way down to specific grade levels. Now, sometimes it'll be a span, like K through 2. A lot of their materials go K2 or 3 through 5. Again, it might be a little bit above or beyond what maybe your first graders can do because it's second grade, but you can, and we'll see here in a second, you can take those from the library and make your own. So you can create your own lesson totally from scratch, or you can take one of those and that you found from the library and you can edit it and turn it into your own. And that's usually what I do. As you can see, not only can I put images in, I can also upload GIFs, however you pronounce it. You can put that into your Nearpods as well. Okay, so let's learn how to do one by scratch. Now, one of the things I've noticed is I've seen Peyton Law, hello, join, because on my teacher device, there's a button I can push to see what student is in, and their name will be in green, actually a green light next to their name, letting me know that they're in. If they joined and now they're out of it, it'll go red. And in fact, it'll even turn red on my screen, meaning one of the students has left that tab and is in something else. I also have the ability to see all of my slides. So maybe we're good. I want to skip ahead in the lesson because I'm running out of time. I can then skip to different slides that I want to do. And then I can toggle on and off student names. So maybe the next open-ended question, I want their names to be there when I go and share it, then I can toggle that on at any time. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch how you can create your own.
Today, you'll learn how to create a Nearpod lesson. There are 2 ways to create a Nearpod lesson. The first way is to create a lesson in Nearpod. The second way is to create a lesson in Google Slides. Or you can also select your format in the upper right-hand corner by selecting the New tab. When creating a lesson within Nearpod, you can begin by titling your lesson. Next, you can add engaging and interactive content and activities by clicking on the Add Slide button. Our Content tab is meant to engage and teach students. Our Activities tab is meant to assess our students. You can also enhance pre-existing content by uploading your own pre-made PowerPoints, PNGs, and PDFs. You can do so by selecting any PowerPoint, PDF, or PNG from your computer drive, Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. Once uploaded, now I can Nearpodize my PowerPoint. Nearpodizing simply means that you're adding engaging, interactive features and activities to enhance your pre-made lesson. When done Nearpodizing your pre-existing PowerPoint, make sure to click Save and Exit. Here's my PowerPoint that's now enhanced with all of its Nearpod engaging interactive features and content. Remember, you can also create a new lesson in Nearpod within Google Slides. All you have to do is simply select Lesson in Google Slides, and it will walk you through step by step how to create a Nearpod lesson within Google Slides. If you have any further questions, please visit nearpod.com/resources or email us at support@nearpod.com.
Okay, so I have a few more trying to join from home or virtually. You might be on vacation and joining us. If you are trying to join the Nearpod, you need to go to join.nearpod.com and type in the code 6WVPU. Now, after I end today's session, the code won't be valid anymore, but for right now, if you're joining in here on almost 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6WVPU is the code in Nearpod. And I'll let that up there. One of the comments they had about making your own, since we are Google-based, if you're familiar with Pear Deck and taking Pear Deck to enhance your slideshow, you can Nearpodize it the same way. You can take you might have a Google slide presentation. You need to install the extension Nearpod, the Nearpod extension. So go to the Chrome store, get the Nearpod extension and install it, and make sure it's activated. Once it's on, when you open up your Google slideshow, you go to the add-ons, click Nearpod, just as you would do Pear Deck, you would click Nearpod. Now I can add all of Nearpod's activities into my Google slideshow. And what's neat is you can launch it from Google as long as that extension's working, or it's in your Nearpod library. I can go into Nearpod and open it through my Nearpod account. If you like Nearpod's platform though, you don't want to do it in Google, you can go to Nearpod, open it up, upload your presentation into the Nearpod platform, and then add your activities from there. So it's two places with Google that you can create yours. You can create yours while just sitting in Google Slides or while in Nearpod. Okay, so they told there's two different things you can add to presentations. You can add content. So look here at this list, and I apologize for its blurriness, but you can add videos. I've done that. This is a slide that you're looking at, so a content slide. You can add a link to the web, and I've already done that slide with you where it took us to the Nearpod page. You can add 3D PhET simulations if you're science and math, that's great. You can add virtual field trips. They have a wide library of videos from BBC. You can put in a slideshow, like I said, like your Google Slides. You can add just audio. You can make a slide of just your voice. Maybe you want that at the very beginning of the Nearpod as a homework assignment. You want them to understand what they had to do. You want to put it at the end. You want to say congratulations, you finished the homework. Tomorrow, make sure you turn it in at the end, and tomorrow we'll be discussing. So you can put your own voice in there, and you can add PDFs. So there's a lot of contents. For those not familiar with Microsoft, Sway is a Microsoft feature, and you can add it to your Nearpods, even though you're doing Google. You can add it to your Nearpods. They've already have ready-made sways, and sways I'll show you what those are in a minute, but they're pretty neat. Okay, so here is one of those 3D, Nearpod 3D. So if you touch your Chromebook screen, you can enlarge the dinosaur, okay, and make him really small, make him really large. If you take your finger on your touchpad and hold it down, your other finger then can use to move him around. So you can rotate him. Let me see if I can do it. My mouse, I left click and right click, and I can do this. Move him in and out, and then I can even rotate him in and around. So you can turn him upside down, flip him around, and look at his mouth. You can move him all around. So I just picked this one. There's lots of them. Maybe you want to take them to Stonehenge. They have one on Stonehenge, so it's like you're right there, and you can zoom in. Science, they've got the plant cell, the animal cell. You can zoom in on that. The planets, you can zoom in and turn a globe all around for Earth. If you're doing continents, you can spin it around and find all the different oceans, the different continents. Okay, here's another activity. This is called the virtual reality. So if I want to enter the VR world, okay, I can set it up like this way. Okay, and actually kind of get the VR, or I can exit that and just kind of move around. It's harder with the mouse, but yeah, there I go.
Riley, you don't have one.
With our finger, we can do it easy on the screen.
Okay, yeah. My kids, I take them on a cave exploration. They love it. They love going down in the cave. There's a hidden spider in the cave, and I have them all, and they're all like looking to try and find it. I take them to ancient Greece, and they explore how much technology was available back then, and it's just, and you can find, there's a long list of places, all kinds of places, underwater, up in the atmosphere, outer space, anywhere on Earth. So let's say you're doing a unit on Egypt, maybe social studies, you're talking about different countries. You can take them to that country, and they love just exploring, and they always go boo, because when I hit the next button, then they can't do that activity or that. So that's the engagement part. The assessment activities, you can see there's a lot of them. There's their game that they added their game feature called Time to Climb. That is pretty new. There's an open-ended question. I've already done that with you. We also have matching pairs, so they could do a matching game. Maybe you're doing words and picture words. Maybe you're doing vocab. You can actually embed a Flipgrid question here that they can then record and embed Flipgrid. They can do a drawing, a collaboration. We did a poll. You can do a fill in the blanks where you type something and then select certain words to be missing, and then they have to drag and drop the words and put them in the blanks for vocab. There's also a memory game that's played individually. Okay, so let's watch about these different ones.
This video will show you how to use the Activity Bank feature when creating or editing lessons from My Library. From My Library, you'll see that you'll be able to create your own lessons, and you also have all the lessons that you've added from your Nearpod library and your library available. When you want to add an activity from the Activity Bank, you can do that when you're creating your own lesson or when you're customizing or editing one of our lessons. I'm going to show you this by editing a lesson that I already have in my library. I'm going to hover over this lesson, Newton's Laws of Motion, with my mouse or trackpad, and then choose the edit option on the left-hand side. This will take me into the lesson so that I can add additional slides and make customizations. I'm going to add a slide because I want to add an activity. Next to content, I'm going to choose the activity tab. I'm going to see all the activities that I have available to me when creating a Nearpod lesson. The activity banks are available for time-to-time, matching pairs, and draw activities. I'm going to show this feature utilizing the matching pairs activity. When I click on the matching pairs activity, it'll take me to where I could certainly create my own matching pairs activity from scratch. And on the right-hand side, you will see the option that I'll be able to add activities by searching or by filtering as well by subject or grade level. I'm going to search by topic. I'm going to see all of the activities that are available for this topic. I'm going to choose one I'm interested by clicking on it. And the matching pairs activity will be populated here. You can see that I can certainly add additional pairs. And when I click on a pair, I'm also able to delete that pair if I so choose. When I'm ready, I can simply click Save. You can always click this arrow to see your matching pairs activities again. And if you decide you want a different one, you can simply just click on that and it'll populate that activity instead. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And that activity will now be added into my lesson. I can certainly move it to where I would like. And that's how you add an activity using your activity bank in Nearpod. Happy teaching.
Okay, so I wanted to do the draw feature. And the way I came up with this is, okay, I can put any image I want to. Okay, I could even just do a screenshot, but I can put an image in. And I can ask in the directions here, circle the Nearpod activities you want to learn more about. So the student, maybe that's in the way, they can't see the top of the image. So a student can click this, and if you want to on your own, you can see, and it'll take that and remove it. You can click this, and if you have that feature enabled on your Chromebook, it would read it to you. But what you can do now is go down here to your different tools. The kids love this one probably the most, as far as, yeah, I can type in and I can answer a poll question, but doing this gets them. So maybe you're doing a sentence. Maybe you have a sentence here and you want to circle the noun. So you type a sentence, have that appear, and now they have to circle the noun. So they would use either the marker or the pen tool. They can select a color and they can circle it. In science class, we have to identify dependent and independent variables in experiments. So I might have a story about an experiment and say, what is the independent variable? What is their dependent variable? And I would say circle one in red, circle the other one in blue. And so they would, so it's kind of color coding, asking them. So they can do that. When I do methods of heat transfer and I say, okay, what is a method of conduction? Show me an example of conduction. They can go out into Google and they can choose an image. So they can search for an image. Or your artists in the class love to draw something for direct contact showing conduction. Maybe somebody touching something hot, a hand touching something hot. But they like that. There's the erase tool. There's the trash, so they can take everything off their screen. You can go back if maybe you just added something and you just want to take that last thing off. So there's a back and forward button. So they love the drawing tool. Really, I mean, I am interested in what you want to learn more about, but I'm interested in you trying the features of the draw tool. You could do diagrams where they have to circle, put a star around something, a square around something, draw, put an X over everything that's a circle. Put a star next to something. So you could do an interesting thing that way. And if you notice when you submit it, I think it's not that you can get it back, right? I have that toggled where once you submit, you're done. You can take that feature off. So they can submit it, you can discuss, and a kid goes, ooh, I got the wrong answer. And they're worried, and you know you're going to lose them for the rest of the lesson because now they're obsessed with the fact that they did the wrong thing. Well, guess what? If that I have it toggled where once it's a submit and done, I can take that off, where they can take it back, fix their answer, and then resubmit. So maybe you want to do that. And I do that with my variables lesson, because not everyone gets it at first. So I have it to where if they think they made a mistake, they can change it. Now, one thing that I can do here is I can share these drawings. So I see, Peyton just submitted hers. If I had clicked and shared one of our drawings, Peyton would have gotten locked out, meaning her drawing would have been done, however, at that point. But I can click on one here as a teacher. In fact, let me show you, I can see all the drawings, everyone in the class. So I can identify right away, okay, this person's got it, this person doesn't got, I can see immediately who has and who hasn't. So I can put one on the board maybe that has the wrong answers, and I can share that. And I'll say, okay, what do we think about this? And it doesn't have their name attached to it. Or I can attach their name if I want to, but right now I'm in hide. So we can put this one up. Okay, so this person wants to learn more about time to climb. I can switch and share another one. This person wants to know, let's see, more about Flipgrid and the collaborative board. Okay, so I can see and I can share with the class. Okay. Now, since we are a Google-based school and we have Google Classroom, I had a code and made you go to a website. Let's say you have a class and they're not that savvy. They're the younger learners, okay, that don't know. Maybe have it in Google Classroom where they can just click a link to it and have it assigned in Google Classroom. So I could do it that way as well. Okay, so they're going to show you how to upload and put your Nearpod into it in Google Classroom. So you don't have to share a code. It's already there. They just click the link. Everyone's in the Nearpod to kick it off. And they're already logged into their Google account, or they should be, so everything's ready to go.
It's easy to send your Nearpod lessons right to Google Classroom. We'll show you how this works here. Go to My Library in Nearpod, choose a lesson, and choose how you want to launch it, live or student-based. I'll first demonstrate this with a student-based lesson. All I have to do is launch my lesson by clicking student-based.
This would be like a homework.
code. From here, you can easily go to Google Classroom by clicking this button. This will prompt you to sign into your Google Classroom and then choose the class where the Nearpod lesson should go. I click this, open my classroom, choose Create an Assignment, and then click Go. From here, I can title my assignment, provide instructions, assign a points value, and a due date. I can choose who to assign it to, whether it's just one student or all of my class. And then I can choose Assign. You can also schedule it when it should post for the students in their classroom tab. I'll choose Assign. I can now view it in my Google Classroom. You can see here I have a new assignment. If I click Classwork, I'll be able to find it here. We'll now take a look at the student side. Students need to go to their Google Classroom. They can see the assignment's been posted in their stream, or they can choose classwork and then choose the assignment. Students don't need a code. They can enter the lesson by just clicking the link in their classwork. They just enter their name here.
If they're signed into Google,
And then they
force their
can
name.
navigate the lesson on their own, as this is a student-based lesson. They can also take notes and send them right to their Google Drive or to their email. And that's how students will navigate the student-based lesson. The process for launching a live lesson to your Google Classroom is quite similar. I'll do this with this ecosystem lesson. I'm going to choose Live Lesson. And you'll see I also have here a Google Classroom button. So I'm going to send this right to my Google Classroom.
I would do this at the beginning of class. If I'm going to have a live lesson, I'd already have one
Create an assignment.
and create it for that
I'm
day.
now going to click Assign. As a teacher, I can see that it's in my Google Classroom here, your ecosystem. But I'm going to be driving this lesson from Nearpod. To show you this, I'm going to be the student on the right here. So this is a student screen. In their classroom, you can see ecosystems is posted here. They'll be participating. Again, they don't need a code. They just click the link here. Join the session. You'll notice they don't have the arrows as this is a live lesson. The teacher changes the slides. And that's how you send a live lesson to the classroom.
As soon as I'm done a live lesson and they're on to their whatever activity it is, I'll look at who was absent that day and assign, I'll do a student-paced one. So if you missed today's Nearpod, you're doing it at home and it's assign it for homework. Sometimes I have for homework 2 different versions of it because I have to differentiate for different students and it's a shortened version. The notes feature I also realized too is also great if you want them to take notes at home and then submit them too, so then they can attach that to the Nearpod assignment. They can do an attachment of a Google Doc where they have notes. And these are the notes I took, or this is what I felt was most important from that lesson. So you can have notes that way too.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
The 3, you guys should be able to go to Nearpod and sign in. If you're signed in, sign out, sign back in, log in with Google. You guys should know.
Sweet.
District.
I have a question about that. So, if you're doing a live lesson, let's say you're like halfway through and you move on to something else, so you don't finish it, how easy is it to get back to that spot? Like, let's say the next class period or something?
Okay, it can, that code remains active, so I can launch that for another 14 days. So let's say, yeah, we had a fire drill or something happened, and now we've got to move on, but I want to pick up right where we left off. Then that lesson, I just tell them, I'll relaunch it, because when you close the teacher one, it closes them. Okay, so they can't put in the code and get back into it because you're not live. Once you make it live, the next class period, they can all join in and you can go right to that.
So they just go back to classroom, click on that?
Yep,
Again, okay.
when you launch it again. And that code, like this code, I have 14 days to use that code and collect all that data, and then it goes. And like the student, if you assign it in student pace mode, they have 14 days to do it. And then when we were virtual learning, I would get kids going, I can't get it. Code doesn't work. Code, yeah, it did. It's just expired. And I need to get you a new code, you know? So I would warn them that they're running out of time. So this is the collaborative board. When it comes up on my screen, I have 2 choices. I can say, teacher needs to approve the sticky notes, or teacher doesn't care what the sticky notes say. So what you do is you type down here what you'd like to share, or how will you use Nearpod in your class? Do you think to deliver a lesson, to review vocab, to engage them in exploring activities? Will you use it for homework assignments? If you don't have any idea, you can type something. You can also add images. You can say, what's your favorite animal? They could say cat, and they could go out and they could get a picture. If they've got their own picture of their cat on their Chromebook, they can put the cat in there, and all of a sudden, when it goes up here, now on me, I see pending teacher approval. So what I do is I go and I can look at the sticky notes that have been submitted to me, and I can approve them or ignore them. I suggest approving, that way they go up here. So if someone will submit just something that I can put up. Okay. One came in, so I'll approve it, green check mark it, and it goes here on the board. Now, this is another feature they love collaborative boards, because look what you can do to the sticky note. You can touch the little heart on the sticky note and like it. When we start our roller coaster unit, I ask them to name some of the roller coasters that are their favorites, or name some of the theme parks they've been to. And they put these up and they all like, oh yeah, I've ridden that one, I've ridden that one. And so we can see which ones most of them have ridden. I also use this to, when we do Indiana topography, where have you been in Indiana? What have you been up north? Name all the cities and places you visited. One thing you'll notice though, as soon as you hit enter, it posts it. So they just have to make a long list, and as they're doing their list and then they post it, they love getting likes. I can even like it too as a teacher, okay? And students can like the post-its, and they really do enjoy the whole thing. Yep, you can do. So this is great for brainstorming. See what they already know at the very beginning of a lesson, see what they liked at the end, what they learned. A collaborative board comes in many different types. I chose the chalkboard, but there's a cork board with like little Post-it notes. They have different versions of it, so you can change the background on how it's presented. There's also timers on things, like the open-ended question. You can put a 30-second timer. So they've got to answer it and move on. You can put a timer on this so that it times them out and they know, got to get their in before the timer is out. I can also take this board and there's a share button. Let's say I want to share my board with other classes. What was another class thinking? I can take it and I can email and I can share this board out, and they can all see what they were collaboratively thinking about something. Okay, here's just some places you can go to. These two, the top ones are on nearpod.com. They have a resources page directly for teachers, so go to the teachers place where I have all these videos I showed today. They have blogs. There's a chat where you can chat live with someone. The How Nearpod Works takes you step by step in creating your own Nearpod. The Nearpod sets up its own YouTube channel. A lot of their videos are out there as well. And if you want to learn how to use Nearpod for formative assessments, there is a quiz feature. It's multiple choice and open-ended. You have to grade those. But the multiple choice quiz is really good for a quick check. I usually do like a 5 or a 3-question quiz at the end just to see, because it immediately grades it. I can see all their scores. They don't know their score, but I can do a quick assessment. So that's another good feature there to see on that. Now, what I wanted to do here, you've been looking at this through the student. And this is how I would have it set up in my classroom. I would take my board and turn it into a student. I would have my personal computer, the one I can carry around because it allows me to I can turn slides back and forth from wherever I'm in the room if I have my Chromebook. But let me show you now up here what the teacher version in mine looks like. So let's go here. So here's mine. Here's what, as you populate yours, you can explore the Nearpod library. And like I said, it's got anything. So if you want to just search by subject, let's say I'm a math teacher, I teach 2nd grade, let's see what it has. So these are all the lessons out there that are ready to make. But if I'm wanting to do something that's Indiana standard base, I can also search by that, and math standards for 2nd grade. So now I know these are standards-based specifically for Indiana, so that helps out if you're doing standards-based, or you can just search. They also have lessons, total activities, where it's like just the matching game or time to climb game, or just pure videos. And the videos can be edited to where you add questions in them, like an ed puzzle. Okay, so let's go back to my Nearpod. And here's the lesson that I created. I can click live participation and launch another one. If I do this, you can see here is the code we used. I can come back to this one. Here's the code I just launched a little earlier than that, but I can launch it as many times as I want. I can also do a student pace, so I can make this homework assignment. So it'll generate a code for that, and this is new, I can adjust the due date. So I get more than 14 days now. I can actually change this and I can require students to respond to. Okay, so here's one that I just started on my own from scratch. So I'm gonna, there are things like you can duplicate it. So let's say you wanna make an easier version for other students or a harder one for your higher level learners. You can duplicate it and add extra stuff to it. Let's say I wanna put it in a folder, and one of my folders that I've created up here, I can do that. I can look at the reports. Actually, let me go to my reports over here before I show some of these games here at the end. Okay, we're wrapping up. We finished. I want to see how everybody did, so I'll go in here. I have different classes, so I launch and use a different code for different classes because I don't want them all in the same one because of the report. So if I want to see how this session went, I can see they did skip some. We did pretty good on the quiz. I can then come down here and see students. I can see how they did on the quiz with the poll, the open-ended, fill in the blanks. But again, these are more or less participation grades for fill in the blanks, open-ended. The quiz is more of an assessment there. But I can see how they did. Now, let's say I just want to see the quiz itself. How did we do on each of the different 5 quiz questions? Well, our weakest one was this one. So this might be something I want to review. Or go to that specific question and see who missed it or who didn't answer in time. And she left for a dental appointment. But the reports give me, like the collaborative board, I can just view it so I can see what they, put into it.
What cities have you been to in Indiana? Was that Purdue?
Yeah, I love that. Now, the one with the home symbol here means these are the students that missed it during class. And for those students, even though I have like 6 different classes, I only do one homework assignment. And that I assign in Google Classroom to those students who missed that day and that lesson, they can go to it. Now, if we scroll through these, you can see that I first started teaching this back in 2019, and that you can see how many times you used them. Some of these, you can see that I've used them for many, many years. So they save all of your reports, so you can compare one year to the next. But getting back to my lessons, let's go to this one that I was just playing around with creating and editing. What I love about Nearpod, you can easily drag and drop the slides and move them around. For the game, Time to Climb, let's say I want to edit just this slide. You can look at all their time to climbs that they have, or you can make your own questions. I just pick a time to climb and it automatically populates it into here. So I could pick, obviously I don't want a Spanish one, but I could search for,
I wonder if you could filter out the Spanish ones up with that filter on the right.
and that is something that I have looked for and haven't found. I know. So I could do math in 6th grade and apply it. Okay, so foundations of algebra. So I like this. So I'm going to replace the 2nd grade abbreviations. Go ahead and it automatically populates it. Now let's say I don't like, maybe we haven't covered a certain question. I can delete that question from here. I can add images if I want to. I can change the time that they have to do the activity. It automatically populates and I can click save, or I can create my own time to climb from scratch. PhET simulations, it takes you to PhET and you can pick one. This is on learning multiplication. There's science and everything, but I can say I want to change it and I can get a different one. Matching pairs is kind of like time to climb. You can pick from your vocab list and then you can add your own. So like this is natural resources. I want to might add natural gas to this. I can hide this and I can click and I can add more pairs. Now the pairs I add won't have their format, but I can add vocab to an already created vocab list. So what I'm going to do with this one here, save. I'm going to launch it and let you guys try the time to climb because I do want you to see that. So, yeah, and let me go back and pick something easier. So if you want to experience it as a student, so time to climb. Let's.
Stacy would be like the star student.
So let's go to language arts. Let's go to like third grade. Okay, and apply and see if we can find something not in Spanish. Ooh, punctuation. Okay, so
Thank you. I would have
save.
You'll take that.
Now I will go ahead and save and exit. Okay, now let me launch it on mine. So what we need to do here is go to join.nearpod.com. Join.nearpod.com. Now, obviously, I would have this in Google Classroom for my students. And you all are reading.
Remember, you have people online. So.
Yeah.
I'll ask them if they need to email you if they want.
I'm working on pages about it now.
Okay, Ben Walter's in there too. I know
They
that.
should already done it now. Just have them email me if they don't.
There's something else in there, but
Did it say?
what did it say?
I'm going to launch it. I'm trying to refresh mine because I wanted to launch it off of here. I think I want to launch it. Okay. Live participation, and we'll do time. Okay, so put 268 FK, and you cannot change the codes. It generates codes, so if you were thinking you could make your own codes, you can. By the way, I don't know if they can or can't. Maybe, but- Let's say you teach with a team of teachers. Maybe there's like 4 in second grade or 3 second grade teachers. You can share a Nearpod you created with them. Like I shared the Nearpod with you.
Yes.
And you can share it 2 ways, just for them to view. You don't want them to add anything to it, or you can share it and then you all edit it. And it is something that you use to collect data grade-wise. So all the second grade does the same Nearpod and we all see the data from it. So it could be for a formal assessment that way. All right, so are we ready? All right, no pressure here. Randomize answers. I can do that and make a little, what's our theme? We can move for space maybe, or underwater. I think we'll do underwater. Sound enabled. Here we go.
Okay.
No one's connected, so I'll wait. There's Julie. So this is kind of fun. Even for junior high kids, they enjoy this at the end. I'll usually do this with vocab for a fun game, a twist. And even junior high likes it. Okay, we're all in. Maybe, maybe not. There's only 5 people in. See, here's the teacher screen. Remember how I was saying I can see who's in? And I can click more, and I can remove them or give them teacher access. if I have a co-teacher. Here, they're hiding student names, and I can click and just toggle it on and off. And here, I can see all my slides. And I can put that back down. But here we go. Let's see how good you are with your punctuation. So Time to Climb has it where you see all the people and you're trying to climb to the top of the mountain and be the first one there.
I clicked the wrong one, I snapped. Sure. I was looking at the end punctuation and not the darn. Oh my gosh.
This would be great to do with vocab or math facts or
I'm way down at the bottom, I'm seeking.
pictures, shapes, numbers, number words to the numbers if you're lower level. Man, Beth Walter knows her grammar.
I know, I'm so sad, I'm down at the bottom. I can't get my thing to work.
So we just watch as you continue to climb, and someone made it to the top, or getting there. Okay, it renewed the time.
I like this, I like it. We should have done algebra.
This one is hard to see. I think you all know matching, where you click on one card and then you click on its partner card. And I think all of you probably know the memory game. This one is the only one that's hard to see from a student's view when you design it as a game. So I wanted at least to do this activity so you see what the students see. But I can see this with math facts, rounding, compare greater than, less than, shapes with names, pictures, beginning reading. I do it junior high.
Can you put in images? So you could do like identify.
Yeah.
Like
Images,
different countries.
Maps. Oh yeah, you can do maps in this. I've done vocab and our science vocab sometimes is not easy. So, but they just love it. It's a twist.
Look at Beth go.
See, here's the image here. I can see the question that it's on. I can see it's giving 30 seconds a question is the setting right now. It has a leaderboard up here.
Oh, we're supposed to be so late.
You can answer the last one. Oh, you ran out of time.
Oh my gosh. Pay attention.
So, and then it just shows the overall leaders.
And the losers. Oh, Riley.
All that or something.
So really, you have a kind of a Kahoot kind of little game in there, or a quizzes game. You have ability to turn a video into an ed puzzle in there. You can put Flipgrid into here. This can take a slideshow presentation that you're doing in class and put it on steroids. And if you're junior or senior high, they have their devices. Those who are trying to squint from the back of the room or look around, people have it on their device, can take notes right from the device, but yet when there's a overall activity, they can look at the board. If they can't see the video really well, they can see the video on their screen, but yet hear through the speakers in the classroom the sound. So I love this. It's an awesome product. And when you start curating your lessons, it'll put, you can tell that the dinosaur one is still theirs. I've not edited it. Once you've edited it, it'll do that. May I suggest making a copy of it? Okay, so when you choose one to add to your library, and then you want to start to edit it, it'll say, do you want to edit this one, or do you want to make a copy to edit? Make a copy to edit. That way you have the original right there, because maybe you accidentally deleted something, and you want to use that slide in yours, but you deleted it. Instead of going back to the library and trying to find it again, you have the original and the copy. So I have like a folder where all my originals are that I downloaded from the library, and then where all my edited ones are. But some of these, as you can see, I just kept their pieces of it. I just put my own notes from Google Slides in. Here's an entire unit worth of like 60 slides, Google Slides I had. But then uploaded into here, and I put in poll questions, open-end questions, games. So now my unit is interactive. So it's like Pear Deck, but it offers, I think, so much more.
And Karen, you did a fantastic job. Got me super excited. But you loved this so much that, tell them about, you became you have some accreditation along with not only just loving it.
Yeah, I'm a Nearpod certified educator. So I sat through videos in their classes, and you have to create your own Nearpod and make it public and put it out there so they can use it in their library, which is this one, the Indiana topography. So I made that one from scratch. I wanted to learn more about it, and that's probably the best way, other than attending a class like this, is to go through that program to really delve into the depths of it. I don't know too much about some of the Desmos because I don't use the math features too much, but I know pretty much every other activity on here that I've used in class. The one thing I'd say that I'm with others out there in their blog is when you design a slide, their slides are not that pretty. You don't have a lot of font choices, color choices, backgrounds. So let me go up to this one that I'm just editing here. Okay. Let's say I want to add content. I want to add a slide. If you notice, I have different layouts. I only have 4 ways to arrange my text and my images. Okay, so you saw I had like here and then a picture. I had that. These are the themes, these are the themes you can pick from, and there's not a lot of choices. Okay, so if I start here and I just write hi, I'm gonna write it here, hi, with something, and you can see, I can see how it'll look like in their different themes. But I'm kind of limited to that. And then the layouts, I'm limited. You know, here I have 4, there I have title and 1 element. Here I have title, and I can put 2 elements in. So their slide doesn't let you be creative. However, create it in Google Slides. Put that slide in here. Then you can have all your fancy shape things and whatnot, and then.
And that's new because I used to, when I first started making, they didn't have that where you could upload your Google slide. So I would create it in slides and screenshot it and then put the image in there. Because I wanted all fancy stuff.
So I recommend going and getting that extension. If you haven't already, add that Nearpod extension, because then when you are in slides.new, when I want to create a new Google slideshow, if you have it activated, it should be in your, Nearpod. Open Nearpod. Yeah, it always asks permission to come in. Now I can put all the activities. I can create my normal, wonderful, pretty slides that I like to do with my fonts and my backgrounds and my things. But then I can also add all the activities and the content that I want to. And then I can save it and go to Nearpod, or I can just take a slideshow like maybe you have one already made. Maybe you have a lesson you've been using for years, but you'd like to enhance it. Take that lesson, upload it into Nearpod, and then work from Nearpod and add all the stuff while you're there.
Great job. Thank you.
So thank you.
Karen, I'm on here and when I went under extensions, I thought I had it because I had uploaded it.
Okay, then you need to go to your extension, see if you toggled it on or off. A lot of times when I'm not using Nearpod, I'll toggle extensions that I'm not using, like Pear Deck and Nearpod off. So see in your extensions if it's on or off. Don't be afraid to click the different buttons and see what it looks like. When I first started this, my kids were still at home, and I used them. Say, I'm watching this, I need you to join the Nearpod. That way then I could have their computer, my computer, and I could see what it looked like from the student view before I went and presented it.
Do you give students like save, like Nearpods, like anything like that, like save information and whatnot?
They can do screenshots, or they can do those notes.
Oh, okay.
But the Nearpod, once it's done and the session's over, they can't go back.
Okay.